in a long time. She did just get buffed in 10-16, ever so slightly. Lane Olaf is very funny. Obviously, he is banned away. Gangplank was being hovered. That's another very good matchup, but it's going to be Sylas. And so this is a lot of magic damage on the side of Dynamics. And again, outside of Jarvan, how do you reach Kate? I'm not seeing it here, Valdez.
No,
not seeing a very clear path.
She would have to be locked down, like taunted or bound by the Lux Q, I would imagine. Or just comboed 100 to 0. But it's Caitlyn with Flash Cleanse and Net and a lot of support. She's got Karma right next to her. She's got a front line. Yeah, it's not going to be easy. Next two blue teams looking to make playoffs, although Afreeca is obviously much farther ahead than Team Dynamics. We're on a 5-game losing streak, a 5-series losing streak, and are looking to turn that around here with the win. And Afreeca, with the loss here against Dynamics, they've lost a little bit of faith from us that they're just going to stomp every lower bracket team 2-0.
Oh, and deokdam starting things off a little bit rough.
Wow.
That is a very, very big deal against Kate Karma.
Yeah.
So this is one of the things I'm very excited to see as well, is how Mystic and Ben pilot this. It's one of the strongest duos in bot lane that really it's pretty hard to get answers against. So this is one of those like true duos. Normally there's not too many of them.
Truos.
Truer.
There you go. Truers. Yeah.
Yeah, truer.
Also related.
Yeah. And Kiin gonna walk up here. And we have Scorch down there on Karma in the bot lane. And no one else actually has it. So Fly actually valuing the Nimbus Cloak and the Transcendence here on Zoe. And we'll see how everything plays out here. There's definitely way less responsibility on Afreeca's top side now this time to make something happen. Yeah, and this is just a prank. That's ultimately all that it is at the end of the day. Spirit comes in, takes out half of Kuzan's life.
Press the attack pretty good.
Yep. Pressure gank, totally effective. Just a red in to run into mid. Ends up working out because of the way that Kuzan played his lane.
Yeah. And he's definitely not going to have too much of a fun time there. He's got to chug his stacks as we see the Jarvan actually on vision here. Maybe, did he drop a... No, I guess he has the scanner. So scanned out the ward, he was spotted there, and now he's going to go ahead and invade onto the Raptors that he knows that Trundle did not take because of the pathing.
Ooh, and
red to mid.
At what is going on here? Oh. Okay. Manages to get it. Oh!
Flash in, and the slow is going to be good enough. He can just, with the flag and drag on cooldown, he is dead. First blood goes over to Afreeca. Spirit is able to pull that one down as very, awkward, kind of all over the place pathing, but it made sense for the game and for the game state.
And so now, Fly, he picks up a flash off of that, and so very nice to have there on Zoe. Kuzan maybe looking like he wants to get his recall off, perhaps just go home and pick up the Dark Seal, but he ends up being chased down here by Zoe. A little bit unfortunate for him. He's going to be locked into the lane for at least a little bit longer. Spirit gets a right side Scuttle Crab.
I think it's just going to go mid to second Scuttle Crab here. They're trying to get a bubble, though, I would imagine. Maybe it's on cooldown. But I think they just push here, try to get Prio, and then move immediately over to the left side.
Yeah, and now with the Prio, and we can't really see top lane, but it looks like Mordekaiser and Sylas are relatively even. You can see beyond.
He's got Smite.
Oh.
He's got Smite, but it turns around, and he is going to get it. Okay. As
Zoe.
Here we go. Spirit is taking a lot of damage. And where is Zoe? How did Galio get there first? I guess he TP'd over, as that's going to be a nice snipe down. And now here's Zoe. Oh, there she is. So is the damage going to be enough onto the Mordekaiser? It will be with the flash eventually, but this is going to be the triple kill for Fly, who picks up the smite at the end of it all and is now 3-0, even though he got to the fight the latest of anyone.
And the funniest thing is, I mentioned that the top side of the map for Afreeca is under significantly less pressure. Are we going to see a Wit's End on Kiin? That would be really cool. Mordekaisers do not do this enough, especially when they're against heavy magic damage. It is so oppressive to play against, and it gives them a lot more options in the Death Realm and on how to approach fights. Because he can hold Obliterate, and it makes you have to be a little bit more honest with how you're approaching the fight one-on-one, and it has synergy with follow-up items. And given that there's so many melee champions on the side of Dynamics, he can go for Wit's End, he can get Guinsu's, so he gets Hybrid Pen on that, and Nashor's Tooth. He can basically go on-hit Mordekaiser. So, definitely would be pretty interesting. Sylas is dead.
Yeah, you would imagine so. He's going to try to use this little cubby here and get on top of Kiin. That's not going to work out. He doesn't have Flash. Trying to trade back on a Kiin, but it will not happen as passive comes in. Beyond just down here casually taking Krugs and might look for a play down on the bottom side, but low mana is his laners, are his laners. That's going to be a nice amount of poke damage too, trying to bait them in. The headshot comes in, but the flash will be enough, and Beyond is...
Oh, he missed the trap!
Oh, how did he miss the trap? How did he miss it? He's still going to die, but like, that should never happen. Okay.
Yeah.
Either way, gonna get that one down. Kuzan is like, yeah, let me fight you with the press the attack Trundle. No, that's no.
Well, the game is totally falling apart.
So I think your prediction might actually be closer at this point in time.
Don't call me a leak script for no reason.
I like how you actually have them written down. Just look over, you got the times right in front of you. Just ready to... Okay, well, here's the push in the bottom side. And they're going to get 2 plates from this. And you guys see the gold lead is already ginormous in this game.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just looking really disastrous. The one thing that isn't happening, though, is a super early Cloud Dragon capture here.
Jarvan.
What?
나 풀 쓸게. 풀 쓸게.
Jarvan,
이거.
Help me. I'm going on this.
잡았어.
I got him.
나 기둥 없어.
And then we see the live fight. And yeah, so Sylas and Mordekaiser, pretty even. Interestingly enough, this is one of the fights where the prio is false. It's not actually prio for Sylas because Mordekaiser can return to a freeze in the event that he would win the fight. This happens a lot. And Fly, I mean, he comes in here, and with the help of Mordekaiser, Kiin managed to flash away out the back. Doesn't matter, gives Zoe the reactivations for her W, and the top lane state is really good. So you can do this a lot, and nice. Excellent. Nice freeze. That's what we got going on here. So
It's getting a little bit chilly up here in the top.
it definitely is air conditioner. I can feel it. And
well,
it's gonna obliterate. Now, this is the lane state where there's nothing much that you can really do, and the third wave is still very far out. So Kiin can wait for the third wave and take this as slow as possible and then hard crash it, or he could have insta-shoved this current wave and then pulled third wave, and then fourth wave, and then fifth, and then indefinitely hold it. And if he actually would have done that, it would have lined up with Trundle being at the top side of the map. If he plays it like this, probably means Trundle wants to do Herald, because then he piles up 3 waves, crashes it into turret, gives the opening for Trundle to do the Rift Herald. So let's see if this ends... Okay, well, I guess... Alright, so...
yeah.
That's the sequence they're going for. So there's 2 variations. Obviously, with all the jungle camps up, you can create a gank against a flashless Sylas, and it's pretty free. By identifying those waves as 1 and 2, pushing in, pulling 3, 4, 5, ganking, killing. But as played, this is the sequence they're going for.
Wow, I got my wine glass ready and everything. It's perfect. I can't believe you just figured it out, the mastermind. But yeah, I mean, it's a good call. The Rift Herald will go their way. The Binding not going to do much here as Mystic. They're trying to rotate down and go for the dive. And you can see that the jungler and mid lane of Afreeca are a little bit late to this one. So trying to lock down Ben, but Ben is actually going to lock down him as Kuzan is super low, but they're still going to be able to get this Caitlyn as somehow Galio died after all that. And now here's Fly's return. We're just flashing in. Very aggressive here. Is going to miss the paddle star. That's unfortunate. But they still have the chase coming on in because it is Zoe. As finally they're going to get the 2. And will they dive? Yes. It looks like they're going to try, but not quite be able to pull it off. As It is a trade, a 1-4-3, I believe, as Caitlyn went down. And then the rest of them did follow.
And, I mean, there's a lot of chaos happening pretty much all over the map. Still no dragon having been consumed yet by either team. And you can see Mystic, he knows that he's about to get dove, and he wants to try to buy as much time as possible, because you have Trundle and Zoe hauling down from mid lane. Buys more than enough time, Ben able to re-go in. Unfortunately, the bubble ends up whiffing, but Spirit point-blank range against the Ashe arrow, the duration just not really there. deokdam tries to say that, hey, I'll sacrifice myself, you guys live, but doesn't end up mattering at the end of the day. And Fly is just super big. There's the Wit's End on Mordekaiser. Really, really nice itemization by him this game, identifying like, well, I'm mostly going to be hugging melee champions, and they're all dealing magic damage to me. Jarvan does more physical early, but then starts doing more magic later. You'll find this with Trundle as well, because in the early stages, Cinderhulk and Bommy is not really dealing a whole bunch, and armor values are still somewhat lower.
Yeah.
And then in the later stages of the game, as items keep being purchased and more tank items, Stoneplate activation, yada yada yada, Jarvan starts dealing less. So nice automation out of Kiin.
He's doing a good job. He's definitely one of the players that he picks the Mordekaiser, and I kind of shake my head, but then I'm like, okay, yeah, I mean, it's Kiin. It's not necessarily something we want to see everybody playing, but it's not bad in his hands. As they're trying to push down here on the bottom side. This is exactly what Team Dynamics did in game number 2. Afreeca are going to mirror that here in game 3. Let's take that and pull down all the gold for the Caitlyn. And we're getting some nice value there at the same time. The Trouble Bubble here onto Kuzan. And they're not going to try to dive a Galio at this point in the game. But still, Afreeca are feeling really good about the current state of the game. More than 4,000 gold ahead.
And they should be feeling very comfortable in this game, all things considered. Fly's going to shove in mid. Kuzan looking for a recall. Things overall just looking pretty rough. Stormrazor first for Mystic on the Caitlyn. Blade of the Ruin King still going to be ways away. And almost 5,000 gold lead here for Afreeca at just 12 minutes into the game. And their team composition outscales the opponents.
Yeah. Generally the sign of more fun things to come for that team. When you have a 2-kill Caitlyn and a 4-0-1 Zoe at 12 minutes into the game. This kind of feels like those solo queue games where half your team is already AFK'd and they're just sitting with their keyboard, they're spamming /FF even though it's not 15 minutes yet. They're like, I'm not gonna play the game, I'm just gonna sit in the fountain. Let me waste everybody's time. Kind of feels like one of those ones, but obviously in pro play, there are ways for Team Dynamics to try to come back in this one, although it will be insanely difficult.
I think in terms of difficulty, what's going to be the hardest thing is overcoming the strength of Karma, as well as the super big Zoe at the next dragon, and there's realistically not a spot where you imagine that's feasible, because you just look at Galio, you look at Sylas right now, you look at all their champions, and they're all just stunted compared to their counterparts. Okay, so you go 2 minutes into the future, what does that mean for all these champions? Their assumed gold values, their levels. We might have a fight here.
Yep, trying to bait him in. Karma is going to get locked down and burst 100-0. Spirit really trying to force the issue. Spikes in, but the Cataclysm is good. Beyond, though, not enough health is into the Death Realm. They're going to bring the Caitlyn as now Rich. Pretty tanky after all that, especially with Galio coming on in as Fly. Not really going to be able to follow up here on the 3v4. As a little bit of a 2-for-1 victory going the way of Team Dynamics after that one.
Yeah, it's definitely a small but important victory for them to try to buy time, get themselves some more breathing room inside of this game. It also doesn't really cost them a whole lot in order to make this happen. So, Ocean's coming up in a minute 20. Kiin's going to stay up here in top lane. Looks like he's going Proto Belt second. I'm actually curious if he'll just go Gunblade because he's going to be on hit and utilizing the attack speed a lot. So if you go Gunblade and then pick up Nashor's Tooth, you're healing out of this world. But if he goes Proto Belt for the slight dash, you can make the argument that the Gunblade zap is almost comparable as well. And even though Proto Belt offers you HP, Gunblade offers you EHP through all the insane healing that you get, so it all maps out.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how this build is going to flesh itself out. That's really the one build where we're not 100% sure yet. Everybody else kind of going for normal-ish stuff here. And yeah, second Rift Herald is going to be taken now by Afreeca. Might look to crash into the top lane, try to take out some more objectives. We do have the Ocean Drake coming up here very soon. We'll see if either of these teams wants to make a move towards that.
We take a look at the replay here, and Karma, I mean, she just gets lit up. Flashes as the auto attack projectile from deokdam was actually in the air. Rich did a phenomenal job, by the way. He landed everything in his combo. Kiin being forced to flash away, taunt by Kuzan, not able to get anything. And just a little bit of a breather.
나도 텔 썼어.
He
무대도 나도
teleported.
바로 텔이야.
Put the mouse over the Mordekaiser, steals away the ultimate. Manages to get in.
나의 미드이라서 잘 안 죽어 무대.
He plays full screen.
Yep.
Big fan.
Big fan hashtag. Yeah.
Kiin looking for that value. He's not going to get it. Nice bind from the Lux. And the Ocean was actually taken here by Team Dynamics. After all of that, we did have a bunch of damage going both ways, so we didn't really get to see how that fight worked itself out, but the Zoe is pretty insane right now. Rich comes up, is going to try to deny, goes for the kill, but the Jarvan will still go down at the end of the day, thanks to Mystic, who finishes off the kill. Beyond now 2-6.
Yeah, and Dynamics, by the way, though, I mean, they do have 2 dragons, which is interesting. If they can somehow squeeze the third one out and then force a soul point, that's a way back into the game for them. But as you're saying, I mean, Jarvan, he's just having a really hard time. He doesn't have a very good purpose to try to engage because he's just going to be a sitting duck when you're pure tank Jarvan. And so let's take a look at what transpires here. As they're losing their life over 500 gold. Rich tries to do something and Jarvan just gets deleted. And then very close, a lot of turret damage being sent out by that tier 1 mid turret. Leandri's being picked up by Sylas. I realized the last couple of weeks, almost every day that passes, there is less and less Morello in the Challenger Korean ladder.
I wonder why that's happening. I have no clue why that may be the case. You still see it every once in a while. I remember game 1.
Yeah. I mean, we're
not going to mention any names, but it was a Zoe player. And, it wasn't the greatest choice in that particular situation, as this Zoe player is really trying to pop off big time. Even underneath the turrets. Afreeca, they don't have to play this aggressive, but they have Caitlyn Zoe, so their siege is great. And with the Karma, obviously, who's right next to them. So extra poke, extra shielding, and safety. And they're so far ahead that they're just like, well, we might as well do this. And just getting more and more value here while there aren't too many objectives on the map.
And, I mean, at this point, Afreeca, they just have to wait until that Infernal Dragon comes up, let Zoe get to her second item, and just keep controlling things, and everything should be pretty smooth sailing. There's also the chance that a chaotic team fight could end up erupting around that Infernal, and it can just snowball into Baron immediately. And from there, it's very easy for Afreeca with this team composition of Zoe and Caitlyn to siege the opponents down and really do whatever they want. Jarvan's useless at this point. Galio should just go back to being a gargoyle on some ledge somewhere. And Ashe is not having a whole lot of fun. Sylas, also, I mean, he doesn't have that many good ult targets. He's mostly always trying to become Mordekaiser.
He's trying to be better Mordekaiser, but not sure exactly how that works out. Works when you teleport right into the middle of the fight, and then Mordekaiser's right there, and Caitlyn's right there, and you just click a couple buttons, and it's like, well, that was easy. But we'll see how it happens later on in this game, and some of those later game team fights.
1 minute until that Infernal. Galio's actually going to make his build get stuck a little bit. He's going for Zhonya's second. And so when you have Seekers or you have Codex and you have the stopwatch too, you basically have the item. So when you do end up completing it and getting all the components, not a whole lot really changes all that much. And so now he's going to be waiting to complete that, and then the third item is going to take him so long to get to. Here we go, though.
Yeah, one-on-one down here as it's Mordekaiser versus a guy who's trying to be better Mordekaiser, and it might actually work out as Rich with 4 of his teammates. All of them, every single person, comes up to the top side and tries to deny Kiin the kill. They do, as the arrow comes in, but Pillar pretty good. DYN trying to force the engage. Here comes Galio. Everybody just going to flash away. As Mystic really has to be careful. Here comes Nimbus Blow. Galio, that's a massive taunt. He's going to get the one. But Mystic is just so fed. He's still chipping away at those health bars. Doesn't have any summoners left available, but they're going to go for Infernal here.
Kiin has teleport, but Afreeca is not chasing. Why is
Fly
okay?
TP.
Well, Fly has TP too, so he's going to be very slow. So Dynamics should just burst this down. So all they should do is burst.
Yeah.
Even if they would lose one of their members, Mordekaiser doesn't have Death Realm. So even if you lose one, it's totally
subjugation.
fine.
This is going to be a big Sylas.
Dead?
You can see him trying to get that damage, but finally he's going to go down. That's a big tank. As good flash by Kiin. Now the Infernal's taking by Team Dynamics. It's a huge engage by Kiin. Gets into the back line. Catches the one, and with the pillars and Mystic going ham. Fly also down here. This is kind of bullying. Didn't want to highlight this too much, but that's going to be a dead Lux. Nice little, yeah, I suppose maybe he could have delayed the kill.
Yeah, you can delay the kill because he doesn't serve a purpose at the Baron, so extending death timer as long as possible.
He wanted to make sure he emoted as many times as possible.
Yes, that is the most important thing. Kiin misses the grab onto Rich, and then all of the teammates, it's like watching, you know, some sort of a brawl. It's like Fight Club or something is going on here.
But you're not supposed to interfere on the one-on-one fights.
Yeah, that's true. They were definitely cheating,
Yeah, that's weird.
Well, DYN goes for the engage, and every time you're just going to face plant into a Kate trap, and Mystic does a really good job here flashing out Kuzan with a really good taunt. And you can see Rich just taking so much damage to the face. No binding able to be landed onto Mystic. Which they can commit to it, I guess, with Lux and Ashe being flashed.
위에 쌀 노플
Sylas no flash. Sylas is above you.
럭스 노플
Lux no flash.
네, 잡았고
I got Ashe. Okay, well, that was alright.
Yeah. Here's that hard engage they're looking for. They're gonna find Fly, but doesn't find much at all, actually. Stoneplate gonna come down. He's gonna be burst. That magic shield not gonna help at all. As Caitlyn showing her true power now. Even with the hard engage, you're not gonna be able to get much if you cannot lock her down. As even through some of the items that DYN and Kuzan have, they do not compare to what Mystic has.
And this is going to be a very hard siege to try to resist. Mystic is taking quite a bit of damage. And I think Afreeca might go for the end of the game.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's going to be like right in the middle of our 2 times. The end in here.
24. I don't think they're going to be able to end.
No, I don't think so.
No. They're going to be repelled.
Nice.
And so it does look like, Valdez, you and I are both going to lose to Guy in chat.
Well, actually, you and I are the only contenders, so I'm going to win because it's closer to me. That's the way the Price is Right works. There's not like a bunch of audience members that are also putting their prices out, so Twitch chat's got their own game going on.
This is just another one of those really weird fights. I don't know what it is with the Jarvans today, but we definitely see why the line ended with the 4th. There's no Jarvan the 5th. As I have no idea what the engage was. Galio just getting locked up as well. There's no conceivable way that they win that fight, especially after Ashe Arrow whips. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, it's very true. I mean, it feels like desperation, and they're like, well, this is our combo. We got Jarvan Galio, and I have Stoneblade. I won't die, right? And then he goes in. The rest of the team is zoned. Galio follows up, but then he comes in too late. Again, the rest of the team is doing nothing. And then they both die. So it's kind of what happens when you're behind on this comp up against a super fed AD carry with enough range to chip away. And not even just her. I mean, Zoe is 7-0 and 5, so he's got to keep that in mind. As here we go, just going to look to push the bottom side here. As, okay, that was a lot of damage. Rich nearly died to one combo from Zoe. As how far are they going to push here? Looking to take the inhibitor, but waiting for their minions. There's the engage. Galio will come in, but all the summoners going to be used now. Trying to re-engage immediately. Rich goes into the Death Realm. He's looking for Fly in the backside, but take a look at Kiin getting some insane damage back there. He's getting kited, though, by deokdam, as now Ben is going to go too far. And it looks like maybe they overextended, although Mystic, still alive, is going to have enough damage to do it. He's going to ace in the hole. deokdam and beyond still alive.
Taking damage.
Okay, they're going to try to chip away at the turrets here, but it's 2-on-2. Are they actually going to try to stay here and go for the 2-on-2?
So
Mystic,
and
very
Trundle
fed.
could win. Kate and Trundle will win. Well, they're not going to actually try to do this.
Lux was up in 2 seconds, I guess?
Oh, and she does have her ultimate available. Interesting they didn't try to just raise the last turret.
If they did that, they would have been so close to my ending time.
Yeah,
It would have been like literally on my ending time.
Yeah.
Man, never lucky.
Infernal
Not this time.
this is actually scary. So the one Nexus turret though is really preventing their ability to just try to go at this dragon headstrong and try to win it. I told you there was going to be a I didn't tell you. Surrounded by Leandries, but
I don't even know. I don't even have to see who it was. I already know.
And we take a look at the team fight. So the Caitlyn trap not getting the value that it would have hoped for. Mystic lighting up Kuzan. Kiin, he thought he had Beyond, and so he keeps clicking forward, but ends up dying. And so then Zoe goes down as well. And Afreeca were just very disjointed in the team fight. Mordekaiser had teleport, so all he had to do was back up after his initial kill, TP back in, the game ends. But trying to be very greedy in the immediate team fight, and it ends up throwing that value away. And so now the game persists on for a little bit longer.
Yeah, we're going to be tagging along for this one. And things still looking really good for Afreeca. About 10,000 gold ahead now. Zoe did die, though, so nobody's got a perfect KDA in this game. And, yeah, it's really going to be the Baron that is on the menu for the side of Afreeca. They will have some really nice Baron damage.
And they're just posturing right now. The bot wave can threaten to end, I mean, any super minion wave threatens to end the game, given that it's only one Nexus turret now. The only time that it doesn't is when RNG is, like, very favorable on minion spawns, and if there's only, like, one super minion at a time. One turret can hold off. But Inhibitor now respawning in mid. And so Afreeca, they're trying to escort this one up. They might just decide, you know what, we're just going to actually end the game. We're not going to go for the Baron. Caitlyn is not able to be responded to. Now, Mystic doesn't have Flash.
Oh, okay.
So there is that. Kiin has taken a lot of damage, but with Fly and the AP values that they have, everything's going to be fine. Kiin's going to recall, maybe TP back in. This is going to be the last hurrah.
Okay. It's going to be the Michaelis used here early on. And I guess they didn't see Rich going into the Death Realm and immediately gets QSS'd. So Rich is like, well, I wish I weren't better Mordekaiser this time around. That ult's not going to be able to do too much to help out this time. They're trying to defend this inhibitor up on the top side, but Mystic with the pillars, it's actually so obnoxious. As here we go, trying to just grab Beyond, and he might just be able to on the edge. Looks like he's got enough damage. As a Cataclysm, not going to be enough here. Trying to fight, take a look at deokdam. Does he have the damage to try to stop this? He's going to flash away, and the answer is absolutely not. Down he goes. And at about 30 minutes and 35 seconds, we're going to dive the fountain. And then we're going to win the game here for the side of Afreeca, as they will take it down. Good game as Afreeca